Hello.
Hello, hello.
How's everyone?
Not too bad. I had a company offsite last week and got caught up in the Delta airline CrowdStrike meltdown.
Oh no.
But I lucked out, I think better than most people. My Delta flight got rebooked another day out and I made it. But other people I hear are not so lucky. They're being rebooked days out, and so it's a mess. I could be on Amtrak right now, going from Denver back home to Detroit, but I am home now, so it's
So
very
it's
thankful.
not fixed everywhere yet because the up I'm guessing updates still have to run.
Yeah, most places are fixed if you have a lot of physical IT people, and if you're not outsourced. And
Hmm.
but I think that's partly why Delta's struggling so much is that I think they're a lot. They put a lot into their Delta app and the deep integrations with it, and so they don't have a lot of staffing, and so they just the other airlines recovered much faster. Um,
Yeah.
and I why Delta's still struggling. It's almost on par with the Southwest issue a couple of years ago. I think you once you get to that point where if you don't recover fast enough, and it's just them lying to themselves about, okay, maybe we have to stop selling tickets and like reset. That's how bad it is, and they just don't want to admit it. I don't know.
Right.
Um, but I was sitting next to two of flight attendants in Denver, um, and it's just as bad for them. It's just like they can't call anybody. Their apps don't work in terms of letting
Ah, fuck.
operations know where the crews are. So that's the main reason why they're still canceling is because the crews are there, but the people in the operations center don't know they are, and so they can't
Right.
approve flights and stuff.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else want to share anything before we jump into the meeting? I can still wait a little bit. Um, I have now created a Slack reminder. So it just reminds us a little bit earlier in the day because I usually forget to like ping everyone about the meeting, but you can't make it repeated. So basically I would have to like create a single reminder every single time, which is a bit annoying, but maybe we can find a solution for that. Just so it would be so helpful if there was just a message on Slack every 2 weeks before the meeting happens. If anyone has any pull with whoever the admins are of the Slack, of the CNCF Slack. Yeah, because I don't know how to do it otherwise.
Do that.
Okay. All right. So let's jump right in. Could anyone volunteer to take notes? That would be super helpful so I can focus on hosting this. Let me also share the
I
link
can do
to
that.
the. Thank you.
No problem.
Awesome. Okay. So I will also share my screen for. Oh, I won't share my screen because I just installed Zoom and I haven't like given permission to someone else. But Dylan, maybe you want to share your screen while you're typing. Sorry.
Not a problem.
I always forget about those things. I got a new laptop, which is great. I got a. Okay, now I'm telling a story. But I got a MacBook Pro with like an M Pro chip, mainly because it natively supports dual monitors. Because otherwise, you have to like do the hack, and then I can't watch a lot of things on my laptop because of whatever. What is the thing? Like, there's a There's a thing built into Mac chips specifically, I think, that like keeps you from watching specific stuff if you're using like display link or something, because they think you might illegally, like do like a private cinema or something. I don't know. Anyhow, so that's fucking annoying. Um, okay, let's jump right in. So we have a new face. Well, it's not a face, but Siddhant, would you like to introduce yourself? This is usually our first agenda point, is giving people space to introduce themselves, but if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Yeah, surely. It's actually not my first time here. I attended the last meetings as well.
Ah,
So yeah,
okay.
I'm Sudhant Khisti. I'm one of the product executives at Devtron. And yeah, I'm just here to see some places where I can contribute and get involved with tag app delivery.
Awesome. Welcome. Yeah, I was missing the last couple of meetings, that's why I didn't see you, but it's great to hear that you've been a bit like not an entirely new face anymore. Cool. Okay, status updates. We don't have any of the working groups here, so let's skip it. But how is it going with well, any of you can tell probably. Well, how's it going with the um infrastructure lifecycle working group?
I missed the last meeting because I was on PTO, but we're essentially figuring out chair nominations right now. And I think our discussions have I'm gonna reach out. There's four of us: Ryan, Bruno, me, and Johan, sorry. Um, and Robert had expressed that it's easier to have quorum with either three or five, and having five, I think, might be a little too many for the first, so we might do with three. And just to kind of get things rolling, we either need to have do a vote between the four of us, or reach out to Johan and see if since this is his first ever involvement with the CNCF, maybe have a conversation with him and see if he's willing to kind of withdraw his nomination for now until the future. I'm not really sure how to proceed with that yet, or if we just proceed with the vote. But that's where we are with the we're figuring out chair nominations so we can proceed with the proposal to the TOC.
Oh, so you want to do the nomination, like do that first and then go to the TOC with the charter.
Yeah, if we have the chairs on there with the charter, it might be easier. That's what Robert's
Yeah.
suggesting.
Yeah, just
Uh,
like yeah,
yeah,
it
so
saves you
just
one
in
more issue.
general, yeah, just it is just easier when everything is like in one package, more or less. Um, I I also wanted to kind of we don't usually don't have this as an issue, I guess, because mostly it can be difficult to get in chairs. But if we have an even number of chairs, do we want to have some sort of function where someone from the tag itself could come in to be like a tiebreaker? Because
Yeah.
if so, that would make this very easy, because then no one has to withdraw their chair position. And in most cases, I think having four is going to be perfectly fine, up until a point where you get to two people voting for something and two people voting for the other thing. And if we just have like some sort of tiebreaker, functionality or whatever you want to call it, I think that would make sense. Someone that's not directly involved, but it'll come from like a tag level, can comment and go like, yeah, I vote for this.
I think that's
Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah, that's I suggested that for the app delivery, so the app development working group as well, if the same situation, if we could only get two or four. Um I don't anticipate it to be an issue. Usually it isn't. Usually I don't think ever had a situation where there was like such disagreement among working group chairs. I would, for what you said, that this is the first time this person, forgot the name, sorry, has done anything with
Johan.
the CNCF, and I don't like sometimes people after half a year ago or so get very overwhelmed with all the responsibilities and they don't really understand how much work it is prior. So if I were you, this is just my recommendation, I would have that conversation amongst yourself. See if you can get it to three. But yeah, I think that as an
Okay,
alternative to have like a tiebreaker from the tag leadership, I personally think that's totally fine.
perfect. Awesome.
It
And
it is
we have a
also
meeting. Go ahead, Robert.
no, just okay. I'll
No,
say
I was
no.
just gonna say, I was just gonna say we have a meeting this Friday, so we'll be able to have that discussion then.
This is one case where kind of like a tiebreaker thing would make sense, but we also had a situation, for instance, in the platforms working group where one of the co-chairs were sick and unavailable, and we were only two, right? So
Yeah,
there are scenarios where you can all of a sudden drop to an even number, even if there is an uneven number of chairs. Someone might be
yeah,
unavailable or has to withdraw or something. So having that type of someone from the tag leadership can step in and be the tiebreaker, I think that is a good idea to have anyway,
yeah,
because you
yeah,
might end up in that situation for various reasons.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think just generally we should aim for like an uneven number of chairs, and then
Yeah.
only if that's not possible, that just makes it easier for us, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, we shouldn't try to force something that can't be like, if all four people are super interested and there's no real consensus over like these three people have been driving in and the fourth person is just the fourth person, then I think then we should like try and do like the uneven number, the odd number thing. But I honestly, I also don't think that it's that super important that you need to spend like a month of meetings on it either, right?
Yeah.
So if there's like an easier solution like the tiebreaker, I think we can also take that. But yeah, I'll leave that to you. And we can also discuss it in the next leads meeting, which is I think next week. Yeah, it's next Monday. We can just bring it up, Robert. Just
Yeah.
what we said right now. And I don't anticipate any like maybe we'll have a discussion, but I don't anticipate a lot of whatever the English word is. I'm sorry. I'm still like kind of in a haze, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any other updates from the working groups that you know about? Just if you happen to know about them.
Platforms working group doesn't have any particular updates. Still working on the same the research, platform as a product research work, and they're still aiming to get that done and up and running for aiming to get stuff out for KubeCon. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the app development working group is also I know that Mauricio really is pushing for deliverables for KubeCon. Are you aware? I mean, you're also on the KubeCon issue, right? Are you aware if the working groups are talking to each other regarding KubeCon?
There's been discussions in Slack, more or less, on various things. So people are talking.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and there is a in case you're unaware, there is a session set up submitted for
Oh, cool.
KubeCon for the maintainer track with all the working groups involved.
Ah, perfect. When is that meeting?
Sorry?
What time, what day is the meeting?
Oh no, it's not a meeting. It's they're submitted a talk for the maintainer
Oh,
track.
sorry, I misunderstood that. Cool. Okay. So the CFP is already open for the maintainer track then.
It's already closed.
It's already closed. Okay. I'm not going to KubeCon NA, so I just did not follow at all. But okay, good to know.
Yeah, no, I'll be
do
there.
do you know if we submitted a lightning talk too?
No, that's the only thing that's been submitted.
Okay, so they may come back to us asking if because we usually just get a lightning talk spot as a CNCF project. So you can either reach out to Tin and ask about that. I think it was Tin. It's probably easiest just to reach out to her. They may also contact one of us about the lightning talk because usually that's a slot that we just get. So just keep that in mind that you might want to do something. And I did like a super short like what does the tag actually do? What are we? Yeah, what are our working groups? Blah blah. Awesome. Cool. All right. Anything else from the other working groups?
Not that I'm aware of, at least.
All right. Do we have Cozy Stack people here?
I don't know.
Okay. Let me see.
Doesn't look
'Cause,
like it.
yeah, they were like very eager yesterday. Okay. Maybe then instead we can talk about the reviews. So you've been asked to
Yeah.
do two sandbox or give like our recommendation regarding two projects who want to become sandbox projects. One is Shipwright, and they presented to us in April, I think, and we have not yet given a recommendation to the TOC up until now. The other is Cozy Stack, and they wanted to present today, but they're not here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karina asked if we could, and that's an ongoing thing in general from all the tags where we want to have some sort of like project review template, which we will use in the issue after the presentation and kind of just talk about like what did we discuss and what were our concerns, and like basically just a report on the presentation and the info that we got, and if we want to recommend this to be a sandbox project. So I've kind of we started a little bit, me and Sarah started a little bit on that, and then we looked at some of the issues that Josh were involved with. He and kind of stole a little bit of his structure and stuff like that. So I have for now a review template that kind of just like highlights the things that we want to discuss and how we want that to be represented in those issues. Yeah, there's nothing finalized when it comes to that as of yet. When it comes to the product reviews themselves, I think there is a deadline for like in the next 2 weeks or something to get that done, if I'm not mistaken. So we kind of need to do that.
Yeah. I mean, since we don't have anything right now, if you could share what you have, at least that's something to start with. So, I mean, like, I think up until now, we just kind of sent them a message like, yeah, the presentation was fine. This is our concern, right? It would be, I think, super helpful if we knew before a presentation, like what are the things that, we want to look at, and if they don't talk about it, maybe want to ask the question. But for now, I mean, if Cozy Stack's not here, they're not presenting to us, they haven't presented, then that's not our fault, like they had the chance to
should
do it.
they? So all these projects should do that for the tag, right? That no, even though they might be. I'm just thinking, like for instance, Cozy Stack is apparently doing something for platforms, maybe we should try to get more people from the platforms working group into these meetings when they are presenting, so that they can ask good questions, or
Yeah.
because
Or
if
even
the
have them present in the platforms working group. Like that could also be.
yes, but at that point,
Mhm.
someone from the tag, whoever is assigned to that, should then be in that meeting, obviously, too. So that is, and I think that's a good idea. For instance, for Cozy Stack specifically, get them to present in the platforms working group
Yeah.
meeting,
Yeah.
and I'll be there and do the project review, and then from a tag perspective, write down the issue.
That sounds good. Are you taking this on now for Cozy Stack?
I guess so.
Okay. No, you don't have to.
I
I'm just asking because you said it like you were.
it is within my domain, so why not?
Cool. Okay, thank you. And I think then besides the template that you just sent, basically we want like the whole process of it. We might want to look at like a real process, right? So up until now, basically anyone could just like write their project into the agenda, and we would just like check the agenda and be like, oh, okay, there's a project that wants to present. And we talked about maybe changing the format so it's not like just a 30-minute presentation, which is usually not super helpful.
Mm.
And I would also like to document all of that on our website, so projects know exactly what they can expect and what they need to do beforehand when they come to our meetings to present. Sorry. I've been sick for like 3 weeks now.
Hope you're
Sorry.
getting better.
I am slowly, but yeah, so I will put an issue on GitHub for us, or for me in this case, to document the project review process as a whole.
Because I think it's a good idea to not necessarily use these tag meetings to do the project presentation. They should be in this against the specific working group where that makes sense, because that's where we have the people that are, capable of asking the right types of questions to kind of throw the people off. Because if they, if we can't like, think of any questions, we're just gonna end up, having a very short review and go like, yeah, sure, this seems okay. That's not really a good.
Yeah, I think what we discussed at one of the leads meeting actually was to have a separate meeting where we just do project reviews. Maybe it would be alternated, so we would have once a month a project review meeting and once a month a whatever else meeting. Not quite sure if I'm 100% behind the idea, because I think once a month is a very long time. If we do stuff like KubeCon, we might want to need to align sooner, but yeah.
And I think if this is something we want to put in, not necessarily put on the working groups, but ask the working groups to help, facilitate, it should be in the working groups hours, the meetings that they have, because that's what people set off as the time to be there. And if we set up another meeting, we probably won't be able to recruit in the people that we need to ask the right types of questions. So I think project reviews should happen in working groups and on working groups, scheduled meeting times, because that will just ensure that we have people.
Yeah, especially if it's like so specific. Like Cozy Stack is very specifically a platforms project. There might be other projects that don't really fit into any working group, so we want to like have it under the umbrella. But yeah, maybe we should maybe really have completely separate meetings for the project reviews that are specifically project reviews. I think that's a better way to do it. The only thing that I'm a bit concerned about that is just like it's a lot of meetings then. Not everyone wants to sit in these meetings every week.
I think if we do it like that, we are going to get less people involved in the review meetings, and most likely won't get the persons that we need involved. But if we did it in, for instance, in this case, in one of the platform's working group meetings, that would make more sense, and there would be a lot more people there
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so for Shipwright, I can take it on to make sure that we give the TOC a review of some sort. Just until the 2 weeks deadline runs out. So I will try to do that this week. And then Cozy Stack, yeah, I will, I don't know, should I reach out to them again? No, sorry, you were gonna do that. You were gonna take on Cozy Stack. So that's on you now.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
fix it.
thank you. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so we've taken care of those two things. Excellent. And also, Zidane, because you were saying like, how can I help? Like, if you want to, because the whole thing of the project reviews, the whole idea is that we get a lot of different people with a lot of different viewpoints to look at the projects and then, tell us what they think and if they like the project or if they have any concerns. So you're welcome to take a look. I don't think I think I posted in the chairs group, but I can like repost the message in our regular Tech App Delivery Slack channel, where basically there's a recording of the meeting when Shipwright presented their project to us and like a little bit of the discussion that ensued after. So if you're looking for something to do, you're welcome to look at the recording, and maybe if you want to do some research on the project yourself and give us your opinion on it, that would be super helpful. Like the more opinions we have, the better the reviews will be.
That would
And
be great.
obviously,
I'd love to do that.
awesome. Then I will just post it in the Slack channel after the meeting. And obviously, Dylan,
Thanks,
you're
Neil.
invited to do that as well. Okay. All right. So, ideas and please take a look. Okay, so I created an issue a couple of days ago and then I forgot to tell anyone about it, I think. So we are looking for new tech leads. We're currently 2.5 chairs. I think Thomas should have created the issue for your vote for the TOC by now.
He hasn't. I've been meaning
Okay.
to follow that up.
Okay, because he messaged me on like
Maybe he
7
has
days
since last
ago
time.
that he was gonna do it. Okay.
I haven't not seen it,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
I
let
don't
us
see it now.
both tag team him and ping him again. I mean, you're like in my eyes, you're a co-chair already.
Thank you.
But it would be nice if Thomas could. If he's not doing it, then I will do it. It doesn't really matter. I can just copy paste it from the last time. It's just a post, and then we have to like like poke people occasionally, the TOC
Yeah.
people to vote on it, and that's it. Like, because we already did our internal vote, and they usually just go by that.
Yeah.
So with that though, that means that we are one. If you're officially then a chair, we are one tech lead down. Sarah is currently basically in the tech lead trial phase, and what we would like to do is offer the nominations to the public. So basically, anyone can nominate anyone. In the past, we would just reach out to people who we thought were very active and just ask them, like, are you interested in becoming a tech lead? And then just go with it. Then we said maybe like let's give people a trial phase, which would be good for both sides. So they can see if it's something they want to do. We can see if they are reliable and like can do the work. And now we want to just like open up the nomination for anyone. So there's an issue which is linked in the notes that describes the process. It's a bit shit that we said the nomination phase is open for 4 weeks, and I opened this issue 2 weeks ago, And there's nothing because I didn't tell anyone about it because I forgot about it. So let's say 4 weeks from maybe now. No, now is not a good time, maybe because it's probably holiday season, right? Like it's end of July, people are probably on holiday. It doesn't really, we don't even have to be that specific about it. We could just say the nomination phase is open until we have an ample number of nominees.
Yeah.
Or it's just like a catch all kind of issue. I don't think that we need to like put any kind of hurdles or gatekeep this if we're like desperately looking for people to help us out. But I just wanted to let you all know that we opened the nomination now. So if you see anyone that you think is super active and might be interested, obviously reach out to them first. Ask them if they would be interested. Nominate them in the issue. And then we'll just go from there. And we just have to see like how can we make it maybe more attractive for people to become tech leads. And how like also what I'm thinking is I think the biggest issue right now is that people want maybe to be a bit more active, but it's hard for them to see how. Like working group chair is like a pretty straightforward, simple, obvious thing to do. But besides that, like what does a tech lead do? How like which level of activity do I have to be considered a tech lead? You know, those kind of things. I think there's a lot of like questions and it's just not clear. The path to tech lead and chair is just not very clear, so people don't really know what to do and how to help. I feel like that might be a bit of an issue here, which is why it's probably like the main issue why we're struggling with finding tech leads. But this is just my opinion. I don't know if do you have any ideas or views on that?
I think it sounds plausible. It is a little bit if you're very active, even if you're very active, you probably don't realize what type of work people are doing in the tech in general. So having that a little bit more concise and clear somewhere that we can refer people to go read up on what that actually means probably will help. But also there's a lot of people that are active that would be great for those types of roles, but they already kind of have roles that kind of exclude them. So people that are chairs of working groups, not necessarily exclude them, but at least it is a lot of work if you're also going to be a chair and a tech lead in tag and do all these things. It's kind of like a full-time job, every single one of them. So most people that are active already have those types of roles, I feel. But
yeah. I think and then also if you're very active in like one working group doesn't mean that you are interested in like being active for the whole tag either. It does span a lot of different topics. But I think still it probably makes sense to reach out to people who are very active in working groups. I mean, Dylan, I mean, like if you became a tech lead, right? Like we would solve two problems. We would solve the problem of having like an even number in the chairs discussion. Okay, well, it's kind of a joke. It is a joke, but I also kind of mean it. Think about it.
Well, we can talk about it.
Sure. I mean, the tech lead is a very easy step for chair. The chair would be next. And then if you're chair, you're basically just one level under the TOC, which is nice.
Right.
That's definitely nice on the, I mean, it's not even for right now, right? You could consider it for like in a half a year or a year or something.
Yep.
The tag's not gonna go away. Just for you also to maybe think about people who are active. There is there's on GitHub there in our repository there is a description of what a tech lead does. is not super extensive, but basically there's like entire like the process and no, that's just the path. You know what a tech lead does, what the process is to become a tech lead. So it is there, but I think it can be more extensive. This is mostly the process of how to become a tech lead. I think we could put more like concrete stuff in there. Also, if you think have any thoughts on that, then feel free to open a pull request, add stuff, send this document to people. Any other comments or questions on this particular topic of tech leads? Alrighty. All right, KubeCon planning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, this was
Yes.
stuff that was probably already discussed, but I wanted to make sure like where we made note of the discussions that we kind of talked about earlier, where with having working groups and tags, having time to present.
There is a couple of like me and Sarah is gonna have more meetings on this. We didn't have time. We had a meeting yesterday, but that kind of went over to the or you know the project review template because that was kind of well, it was asked of us, so we kind of had to do that. But there's a bunch of people that have a bunch of ideas of what we both as a tag and from like various working groups can do to kind of like drum up some good stuff. So I'm gonna have some one-on-ones with some people that have some specific suggestions, and we should probably find a way to highlight some of these various things that are happening. For instance, the platforms working group have the platform engineering coffee or whatever it's called that they did last time, which was very successful. That recruited a lot of people to the platforms working group. So anything like that, like getting that highlighted from a tag, as well, that the working groups are doing these things, yeah, all those kind of things. So it's still a work in progress and probably something we should prioritize a little bit more, but haven't had the time.
Yeah, that's why I was asking if whether the working groups are talking to each other, because obviously that would be very helpful for all the working groups to know this is a proven way to get to recruit new members. Maybe it would be nice to have like a KubeCon sync meeting where you discuss like the plans and just specifically invite all the working group chairs to it. Like that's up to you if you want to do it or not, but maybe this like would be helpful to do.
I could do that, but there's a lot of discussion on the Slack, and people are very good at taking initiative for things. So there's a lot of stuff going on already, and things are getting planned. But I think we discussed this before that like every time there's a new KubeCon, which is twice a year, at least for now, unless someone wanted to start doing the Asian one as well. We always kind of like scramble to get stuff done. We probably should have some sort of timeline for things, and like this is what we need to do when. So that is the thing that I'm also having in the back of my mind as we're doing this. Like, what should we do when? So we probably should open an issue about activities an X number of months before the event. Gather information from the various working groups, what they want to highlight, kind of make some plans based on that, and start having like some sort of timeline for all this. Which probably would be helpful because right now we don't really have that, so it's kind of the seat of our pants type of things. But that is on my list of things to kind of try to define or suggest how we can do.
Also, like, are you planning to do like lightning talks again?
Not really, but
Mm.
there are people that have, for instance, the David from the platform as a product interview.
Mhm.
They kind of want to have some way of presenting the results that they're having,
Mhm.
which I think works as a lightning talk because having a full, you know,
Mm.
full session on just results on that probably not going to be that great. But so that is potentially a lightning talk that we could say that we want to have.
Mm.
And
So you wouldn't like
and
have a CFP, but then like decide internally on possible lightning talks. Is that the idea?
yeah, I think so. And we'll see how many we potentially have. But yeah, we just need to set up a certain time during the conference and have those lightning talks.
Yeah.
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 And I guess that the booth, the tag booth, we probably could just do whatever we want. So we
Yeah,
stuff
that's
like
what
that.
I'm like. That's what I meant. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
the lightning talks for the booth that we have
Yeah.
done so far, and I'm personally always kind of unsure how much value you actually get out of it. But then again, for a lot of people, it's just like they're there anyway. It's fine. They can just like they're happy to do like a 5 or 10 minute talk, even
Mhm.
if there's only 5 people watching it.
Yeah.
But I think like what I like about the lightning talks is that we invite people who are not necessarily active in the tag to create content for the tag basically. And
Yeah.
that gives us a little bit of like a community pull, which I think is nice. So if you decide to not go with lightning talks, maybe like a lean coffee or something as an
Mhm.
alternative to get to like give people who are not active with the tag a possibility to like or like a platform to share stuff.
Yeah.
I think that would be great. And I just want to make sure that the artifacts working group is also involved because they tend to not be super actively reaching out to us like tag leadership.
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure that we reach out to them. If they're not interested, then they're not interested, right? But I wouldn't want them to just kind of like, maybe they just missed the message or something that would be
Yeah. Let me share the link to the issue on the various working groups,
yeah,
even if it hasn't been done before, and just like ask for
yeah, just to be sure.
contributions to activities. So
Yeah,
we have that kind of yeah.
awesome. Thank you. Um, anything else on KubeCon? Any other?
Not at the moment, not for me at least.
Cool. Do you want to say something more about the project review template? I know you put it here, Dylan, because we talked about it.
No, I just
Um,
wanted to make sure for anyone who wasn't attending the
Yeah,
meeting and reads these notes that they saw
yeah.
it.
No.
yep.
But other than that, we're happy. Like what's the timeline for the template to be like official? Do you have any in mind?
I was thinking that when this week is done, that should be pretty nailed.
Oh,
And it's not like it needs to be like a very official adhere to the standard. It's more of a I guess suggestion, which make
yeah,
it easy for
guideline.
people to just something like that. We can just put it somewhere, uh, and you know just so other can also like the other tags can also see because they're like I know tag runtime already have some sort of template that they've been using now for the review, and just so Karina and I guess the TLC also just see that we have something available, so we don't have to do everything from scratch if there's a project review.
Yeah,
We can just like get on it and get it done.
yeah. And this is for all of them, right? Like sandbox,
Yeah.
graduation. Okay, because I know that the TUC has their own, I don't know if they're templates, but they have like documentation on the reviews for um incubation and graduation. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, because they don't have anything specifically for sandbox, and it's mostly
Yes.
because they don't have any hard requirements at all.
Yes, yes. So maybe we just want to link them into the doc or something like, hey, this is like for example, this is the template for incubation. For the this is the for the application, right? So not necessarily like for us, it's more like for the projects to understand what needs to be done, but it would just be helpful to link that into the template so it's there. And I don't think like every single thing needs to be checked. Oh, it does say suggested and required. Okay. Yeah. I mean, like for Sandbox, we might want to also like give people some hints like, hey, later down the line, you might want to, this might come up, you know.
Yeah, and that is the thing that I think is kind of important because I already had a presentation from version stack, a lot of stacks going on here, but and they started asking questions in terms of like, all right, what are the next steps now? And I'm kind of like, well, I don't know. Why would I know? So, you know, I think it's a good thing that Karina is now kind of trying to make some sort of processes around this and involving us so we know those kind of questions or can answer those kind of questions, because right now it's more of a, well, they told us that you needed to present at our meeting, so we did that.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. That's
Like,
exactly what
now
they
I
do.
don't.
And they
Yeah.
don't even know what exactly they need to present or how they need to present it.
Yeah.
And that's why also I want to put it on the website and we can just, and then that's another thing. So it becomes more clear what the tag actually does and what it's for. Like that is one, actually, I think that was used to be one of the main tasks or like things that the tag had to do was to like, you know, guide and govern for the TOC. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that and it's kind of in the name, right? Because a technical advisory group.
Exactly.
So we're supposed to be advising if, like, is this a project that makes sense from an app delivery standpoint? Yes or no? Like that's kind of what we need to do, I think. And as soon as we don't do stuff like that, it just becomes like an empty shell for working groups, and that is not really, that doesn't make sense. So
yeah,
there's probably other things that the tag also can do. Not that I have any ideas right now, but I think at least like project reviews is a pretty self-explanatory. Like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. And I think that's probably it. So yeah, I will post the message and the shipwright video in our Slack and then give ourselves maybe like a deadline by, I don't know. And then maybe I should ask the TOC, I should ask Lynn again, like what's the deadline for the next sandbox review? And is that public? Can we see
I think
that?
it is. If you go to their project board, they include it in the title. I think it's in August.
Awesome. Okay, yeah. Let me check. Yeah, August 13th.
Cool.
Yeah, I would say then maybe until end of next week or something. I wouldn't put it like to the very, very last moment, but we can also give ourselves a bit more time. Okay. Excellent. Then let's leave it at that. I think we have everything. Is there any other topic that wasn't on the agenda that is very important to discuss now?
I put a link to a PR in the chat, not specifically agenda, but it's for a PR I had a while ago to update the meeting time on the website. And we went back and forth a little bit on it, and I think I've cleaned it up to what it's expected. So we just need to get it reviewed, and it should now use the actual non-daylight Time zones are hard. That's all we need to
I know.
Time
Yep.
zones are hard.
I think I created another pull request to fix the same thing for some reason. I'll just merge it. It looks fine now.
Okay,
Cool. Thanks for reminding me.
not a problem.
Okay, then we're done. Thanks everyone for coming. Have a great day, and we'll see each other soon.
All right.
Take
Thanks for
care.
the meeting.
Right. Bye.